Hello and welcome to Elizabeth's Craft Room. Aren't these images cute? These come from the Christmas Cuties, very well named. Little images all ready for colouring in. And so I'm going to show you a card today made with this one. Isn't this sweet? I've gone ahead and stamped these, and I've stamped them in the new basic grey ink. This is especially for use when you're colouring, so once it's dry you can watercolour, and you can use blender pens, and it works really nicely. It is actually it's not a foam pad, it is actually a cotton pad, which helps to get the ink where you want it to be. Right, I've brought the camera down a little bit closer and take these out of the way. So I have just cut her out, which took a few moments. As I say, I didn't really want to bore you with watching that. And then I've got a So Saffron ink pad, and I've just sort of squeezed that to get some ink into the top. I've actually dotted a little bit in here as well with a re-inker. This one is Pink Pirouette. So I'm just going to use those and do a little bit of painting with an Aqua painter. You can use a regular paintbrush, but why I like the Aqua painter is it's very controllable. The water is already in the barrel. You can just refill, and it means that from my point of view I'm not likely to knock over a pot full of water, which is absolutely guaranteed what I would do. So I'm just colouring her in just a little, and you can just clean the brush in between. I'm just wiping that on a tissue to change colour. And to get some a little bit of texture into the hair, I'm going with a darker ink in just some places. We'll just colour in a little bit darker back there. It's behind. And then using a little bit more water, you can get that lighter yellow, and then that gives a little bit more texture. Now what you can do is you can do this with watercolour paper. It is fine on Whisper White or on thick Whisper White, as long as you don't over soak it. It's obviously watercolour paper is more absorbent, but as you can see that's worked fine. As long as I don't overwork the paper, it won't pill. I'm going to add a little bit more using markers. I just want her halo to be a little bit of a stronger colour, so I'm using the Daffodil Delight, just colouring that in. For her face, I am going to just take the very palest bit of Pink Pirouette and just add a little tiny bit of colour. I don't want to overdo that. Let's bring her up a little bit closer so you can see. Sweet! Okay, so I'm just going to let her dry for a moment while we do the background. Right, so we're going to put some of the background elements together. First thing I'm going to do is to add a little bit of snow. And I'm adding some snow with some soft sky ink and a dauber. I'm just going to gently put a little bit of blue down along there. You don't want to press too hard, as I've done a little bit there. Just build it up a little bit. You don't want to get a circle on your snow. And you could mask this and get a snow line, but I just want something gentle here. Okay, so that's that piece there. I'll reach for my snail and put on some ribbon. This is the Pink Pirouette ribbon, so we have the matching ribbon. And I'm just going to run some snail along there. Snail is definitely my favourite adhesive for ribbon. Works really nicely. And it just is going to hold that in place, and then eventually this will be tomboed on the back, and that'll hold that one tight. But it's nice because the adhesive doesn't show through that ribbon at all. The greeting, I'm going to use It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year on this one today. And I'm punching out a little piece of pink pirouette using the scallop oval punch, and then we'll layer up that greeting. I can hear my washing machine is finished. A woman's work is never done. Okay, just going to pop that out and pop our greeting on there. Now, something else I did was I added some glitter, and I added it in some very specific places. So I'm going to use my tear and tape to add glitter. I'm lining up my grid paper, and I'm using that to get a nice straight line with my tear and tape. And I'm actually going to cut my tear and tape because I want that to be a nice finish there. There we go. And I'm going to take that off and put some glitter on when I'm putting the glitter on all together there. So some dimensionals are going to pop her up, my little angel. And I really do like these images cut out, and you can certainly stamp them straight on, but there's just something really sweet and delicate about the way she's just popped out there. I'm also going to use some of these sequins. I have a real problem with that word, I can never remember. I'm going to use these sequins. These are, I think this is Blushing Bride sequins, a sequin trim, and I'm just going to take a few of those off the end, and I just felt it gave that just a little bit more glitter. I do actually like non-traditional Christmas colours, and so this is definitely one for me. Now I'm using the fine tip glue pen from Stampin' Up to attach my sequins, and it is my new all-time favourite way of getting sequins onto a project. I've just lost that one completely. It works perfectly for these little elements. You can just put a tiny bit on, and you haven't got glue popping out through the whole of the sequin. It's you can just lay them on there and they'll stick. Just looking at my other one. There we go. And put the lid. Helps if you put the lid of the glue and not the lid of the aqua painter back on. There's a little needle that needs to line up, so you need to do that. Straight away. Now we're going to layer this up onto a Whisper White card. I like to do every bit of sticking before I put the final glitter on, and then I can leave it to dry and then just run a tissue over, and I will leave that and actually show you that as well today. So I'm going to just take the backing now off of that tear and tape. Come on, on you come. There we go. And I'm going to bring in my Dazzling Diamonds glitter, and I'm going to sprinkle it first of all across that line. Isn't that lovely? Doesn't that look great? Got a little bit of glue down there. If you do get a bit of glue on and it actually sticks in a place you don't want it, use your adhesive rubber. You can actually do that even once the glue is completely dry, and just take that a little extra bit of glue off. Now, back to my precision glue, and I'm going to put some glue, I'm going to put some glitter. Whoops, that was a little bit too much. You really don't need to squeeze with this, just a tiny bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of sparkle on her wings. Where else did I put it? I put it on her sash. And on her halo. Bring the dazzling diamonds back in. Right, I'm going to leave that for a couple of minutes to dry and then come back with a tissue and take off the... Right, the washing is hung out on the line, and I've just wiped that off with the tissue, and how pretty does that look? I hope you've enjoyed your visit to Elizabeth's craft room today. I'm back to carry on with my multitasking day and look forward to welcoming you again soon.